and welcome to Clearview Television News. We're reaching you live from Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. In the news, President Muhammadu Buhari urges new Zamfara government not to despair in the face of sustained attacks, vows to root out insurgents. Court of Appeal dismisses PDP's motion to inspect central server used to transmit data from accredited voters and results of February 23 presidential election. Suspected ringleader of Saturday's failed coup plot in Ethiopia's Amhara region goes into hiding as search for his arrest intensifies. I am Rose Audu with the details of these and more. President Muhammadu Buhari has commiserated with the government and people of Zamfara state on the recent infiltration of bandits who killed several innocent citizens in Safi local government area of the state. In a statement by his senior special assistant on media and publicity, Malan Garuba Shehu, in Abuja on Sunday, Buhari condemned the incident, describing the attacks as callous and despicable. He assured the people of Zamfara state and other Nigerians who had lost loved ones to violent attacks that the government under his watch would soon bring such dastardly acts to an end. The president commended the new administration in the state for putting in new security measures to curtail the activities of criminals and bandits, urging it not to despair, but to see the latest attack as a challenge to step up collective actions to rout the enemy in partnership with the federal government, while urging law enforcement agencies to take prompt and timely action against the wicked attackers. Buhari appealed to citizens to have faith in the security agencies by giving them useful information on plans and movements of the bandits. 3 persons were killed with about 20 others kidnapped and about 500 cattle rustled following a fresh attack in Maradun local government area of Zamfara state by suspected bandits. Several persons were also said to have been injured with 500 cattle rustled away in the attack, which took place at the hometown of Governor Bello Matawali. 3 persons were killed with about 20 others kidnapped and about 500 cattle rustled following a fresh attack in Maradun local government area of Zamfara state by suspected bandits. Several persons were also said to have been injured with 500 cattle rustled away in the attack, which took place at the hometown of Governor Bello Matawali. It was not clear whether the people kidnapped were women alone or men and women. The attackers were said to have invaded Kahu, Sage and Giri villages near Gandhi on Saturday. They reportedly shot from around 5 p.m. on Saturday till Sunday morning, after which they carted away hundreds of cows, sheep and other valuables. According to the chairman of the LGA, Alhaji Ahmed Abubakar, the bandits stormed Faru village last Monday and Bichiri on Saturday, while an attack on Gama Giwa village was carried out earlier Sunday. According to reports, villagers in the areas where the attack took place are running away to safe places, as many migrated to the local government headquarters. Zamfara State Police Commissioner Usman Nagogo has given 2-week ultimatum to Miyetti Allah to end banditry activities or face the wrath of the laws. Addressing leaders of Miyetti Allah during a reconciliation meeting held at JB Yakubu Secretariat Gusau today, the commissioner said Zamfara has had enough of banditry activities, calling on the Fulani bandits to embrace peace and surrender their weapons. The commissioner asked the Fulani leaders to call their people to order and stop all forms of banditry and other criminal activities or face the full wrath of the law. He blamed the Fulani leaders for all atrocities being committed by the bandits, as according to him, they have not taken enough measures to call their subjects to order. Despite the reconciliation accord signed by both the Fulani and farmers in the state, the commissioner maintained that the volunteer groups have since surrendered more than 9,000 weapons in a bid to embrace peace, lamenting that the Fulani cattle rearers were yet to do so. Reacting to the commissioner's speech, the Sarakin Fulani Zamfara Alhaji Ahmed Mutawali said Fulani are peace-loving people. The Sarakin Fulani said Fulani herdsmen were subjected to all forms of intimidations and harassment by farmers who have continued to encroach and cultivate grazing lands and cattle routes meant for cattlemen. According to Sarakin Fulani, the refusal of the farmers to vacate grazing lands was one of the factors that contributed to the current insecurity problems, stressing that this was the beginning of farmers-Fulani clash, which led to reprisal attacks and finally metamorphosed into armed banditry. He stated, however, that armed banditry could only be effectively controlled if the state government waded in and forced farmers to move out of grazing lands and allow herders to move freely with their cattle in the grazing areas. The Sarakin Fulani also used the opportunity to announce the dissolution of leaders of Mieti Allah Cattle Breeders Association and banned the association's activities until further notice. The federal government plans to hold a series of stakeholders meetings with the Nigerian communities in the diaspora as part of efforts to address rising tensions between Nigerians and Nigerian embassies and missions in some countries. The meeting are also to identify the challenges faced by the diaspora Nigerians and find urgent solution to them. The Chairman, Chief Executive Officer of Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri Erewa, disclosed this in Abuja after she held a meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari. Dabiri Erewa, who spoke with State House correspondents, also said she used the visit to brief Buhari on the work of the Commission so far since the confirmation of her appointment as NICDOM CEO by the Senate in May. Buhari had named Dabiri Erewa as the head of the Commission in November 2018. On the stakeholders meeting, she said it had become necessary following the action of a 32-year-old Nigerian Jeffrey Ewohime, who destroyed Nigerian High Commission vehicles in London last week. A 22-year-old man, Mustafa Aliwu, has confessed to beheading 3 boys and 1 girl in various villages in the outskirts of Abuja. He said for each of the male victims he was paid 170,000 naira, while he was paid 160,000 naira for the female head. He was on a mission for the 5th head on the 19th of May 2019 when he was caught by personnel of the police force. Speaking during his parade, the Commissioner of Police in charge of FCT, CP Balaj Siroma, said efforts are being intensified to arrest his master, who is currently at large. On how he got involved in the act, Aliwu said he approached Malan Yahaya because he was stranded and needed 7,000 naira for his WAEC fees. Aliwu explained that after complaining to Yahaya, he offered him a plate of rice and kamot, adding that after consuming the meal, he could neither speak nor respond to what the Malan said. He said he was later handed a substance which would make any child he touches not to make a sound. According to Aliwu, that was the charm he used to behead the 4 children he touched before he met his Waterloo.
It is also important to state that the command is making concerted effort to curb the menace of one-chance robbery and 419 in the FCT. Part of the measures deployed by the command include clampdown on operators of unpainted taxis, raids of black spots, use of meeting points for one-chance robbers. This is to complement other existing measures put in place by the command to checkmate crime generally. I therefore want to enjoin members of the public to complement our effort by being security conscious, vigilant, and avoid using unpainted taxis. Below are some of the achievements recorded by the command in the last couple of weeks. 1. Arrest of suspects and recovery of exhibits. On the 19th of May at about 14:30, following a distress call, police operatives arrested one Mustafa Aliu, 22 years, in possession of a freshly severed head of a 3-year-old boy who was later identified as Usman Awalu of Rugan Fulani, close to Lele village in Kwali area council. The suspect confessed that prior to his arrest, he had beheaded 4 children and gave their heads to his master, who is now at large. According to him, he is paid 170,000 for every male victim and 160,000 for every female victim. He said his victims were taken from Sheda, Kwali, Kilankwa, Waku, and Lele villages. Effort is being intensified to arrest his master, who is currently at large.
I don't register wife and Nico Koduna. I know you money, wago enter moto, go to Koduna, right Congo, the Malay house may help me with 7,000. A concert, no wala. Like we can't talk like that. You can't give me food, you can't give me rice with beans, with common. It's common like why easy or like why take all this food. The food where you give me what take, where you give me what take. All the talk where can't talk with me. I know talk anything. You can't give me cutlass, you can't give me one clothes, you can't give me clothes. You can't give me clothes already like I can't wear them. I can't wear the clothes, you can't talk with me. You can't talk with me.
So you can't begin to cut people head. How do they see the people? Where do they see them?
At the 4 road.
4 road?
Yes.
Now children have been a big person.
Children.
How many?
How old? 20 years or 15 years.
How many you don't cut their head?
The one give her 4.
4.
You say the woman
Man too.
Now 4, not be waiting talk about.
No.
Now 4.
Man, how many? Woman, how many? Man 2, woman 2.
To what they give them this head now? What they use the head? Do you know?
I don't know.
So what they give you as you give an what they give you?
They give me money.
How much?
If you're a man, 170.
If you're a woman?
160.
Stakeholders have gathered in Gusau, the Zamfara state capital, to sensitize youth on the effects of drug abuse in the society. They appeal to government at all levels to intensify the campaign against the danger of drugs abuse. Clearview TV's correspondent has more.
The Zamfara state government and the security agencies have continued to find lasting solutions to the lingering and escalating insecurity in the state. This informed the meeting between the Commissioner of Police, Civilian Joint Task Force and JTF vigilantes to discuss ways of addressing the menace of banditry, kidnapping and cattle rustling in the state. The Commissioner of Police, Usman Nagogo, appealed to citizens of the state to avoid taking the law into their hands as efforts are being made by security agencies to resolve the problem amicably. The security advisor to Zamfara State Governor Abubakar Dauran assured people that the state government is working round the clock to bring an end to prevailing security situation.
That's the issue that we want to tackle, and that's what the Commissioner of Police wants to do. That's why it's all of them to come and at least fulfill the law and order, so that at least the Preston will be a peaceful place.
Secretary of the Civilian Joint Task Force JTF, Sani Labaran, however, lamented lack of prompt response of security agents whenever incidents of attacks have been reported. The Civilian Joint Task Force and vigilantes have expressed their readiness to cooperate with security agencies towards achieving lasting solution in the state. Anita Patrick reporting for Clearview Television.
Governor Samuel Otom of Benue State on Monday expressed concern over the unending Jukun crisis that has claimed many lives on both sides. The governor expressed his feelings about the clashes between the two ethnic groups during the swearing-in of 4 special advisors in Government House, Makurdi. Otom said successive administrations have tried to address the crisis, which started several years ago, adding that his administration has also made concerted efforts with the governor of Taraba State at ensuring that peace reign in the two states. While condemning the incessant crisis, Otom observed that the clashing is gradually spilling over to Benue State. He called on the two ethnic groups to embrace peace, pointing out that it was impossible for the two tribes to dislodge each other from the area. Inaugurating the new special advisors, Otom charged them to redouble their efforts in assisting his administration to provide selfless service to people of the state. The governor noted that the appointees exhibited diligence, commitment and dedication to duty in their previous assignments, which had earned them a reappointment. Responding on behalf of her colleagues, Magdalene Dura expressed gratitude to the governor for finding them worthy to serve in his second tenure and promised to justify the confidence reposed in them. Ekiti State Commissioner for Natural Resources, Benga Agbeyo, said on Monday that the state government had impounded 497 illegal planks and 16 logs of thick billets allegedly evacuated illegitimately from forests in the state. Agbeyo assured that the perpetrators who escaped on sighting his vehicles would be fished out and sanctioned accordingly. The commissioner said that the planks and logs were confiscated at Araromi Agbechi in Ekiti East local government area while he was on a tour of forest offices in Ikole, Boyin and Ekiti East Council areas. He stressed that the planks would be sold only on the order of a court of competent jurisdiction. He frowned at the illegal act, which he said had drained the resources of the state revenue. Agbeyo said that Dr. Kayode Fayemi administration is poised to improve the internally generated revenue of the state to assist in embarking on meaningful projects that will further impact positively on the lives of the people. According to him, the tour of the forestry resources with the intention of curbing illegal activities in the forest across the state became necessary, having noticed the abysmally low revenue gathered from the forestry subsector. The permanent secretary in the ministry, Olufemi Asosona, who accompanied the commissioner on the tour, expressed dissatisfaction with the illegal activity. He also warned forestry officers and members of the community where the illegal activities take place to stop colluding with the perpetrators. Asosona ordered full security for the confiscated woods as he urged the forestry officers to expose the bad eggs in their midst. The Anambra State Governor, Willie Obiano, has said no money bag would be allowed to intimidate anybody in the state. He warned that his government would not tolerate such harassment. Obiano stated this on Monday when the people of Ntoko community in Oka South local government area of the state staged a protest to Government House over alleged intimidation by a certain money bag in their area. The governor, who spoke through his special advisor on security, safety and emergency, Chikodi Anara, warned that the rule of law should guide people's conducts and transactions in the state, while assuring the people of Ntoko that he would intervene in the matter. He hailed them for being peaceful and orderly in their conduct. Carrying placards of different inscriptions, the people of Ntoko have stormed the government house, Oka, narrating how they were being intimidated. Speaking through their leader, Vincent Ike, the community implored the governor to come to its aid, saying that their lands were being taken away from them forcibly. The community said recently the leaders were allegedly arrested and taken to Abuja on the instructions of Austin. You're watching Clearview Television News. The news will continue shortly after this timeout.
The Healthcare Plus program in Kogi State was initiated by Governor Yahaya Bello to reduce neonatal and maternal deaths by offering free medical services and commodities to pregnant women from conception through delivery. The program has kicked off and is witnessing immense success as women now take to antenatal care. There have been unique stories from center to center, and we'll share in weekly episodes a few of the most unique cases. Welcome to Healthcare Plus Baby of the Week.
She was referred from Primary Health Center, Jegubeki, to General Hospital, Kotonkafri. Immediately she came, we received her warmly, and as a midwife, I checked her and know that the presentation is abnormal. So immediately I sent for a doctor, and doctor came immediately.
Actually, our patient is from Jegu, under Healthcare Plus. She was rushed here. It's a brief presentation of baby in a term. So we went for scan, and it was complete breach. She was already in labor, so she was taken to theater. Thank God the outcome was wonderful. A live baby boy went almost 3.8. Today, the mother and the baby is alive, sound and healthy, happy.
Baby was sick too. He said, "I've been more sick when he became land and way." Wọ́n sì tọ́jú mi, wọn ò gba kọ́bọ̀ lọ́wọ́ mi, èmi àti ọmọ mi a sì wà, kò sí pírọ́blẹ́mù, wọ́n attend mi gidigidi, wọ́n ṣe mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ wọn o, Ọlọ́run ó ràn wọ́n lọ́wọ́ o. Nọ́ọ̀sì àti dókítà, Ọlọ́run ó ràn wọ́n lọ́wọ́ o, Ọlọ́run ó dúró tì wọ́n o, kò ní padà lẹ́yìn wọn o. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Yàyà Bello, mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ rẹ o. Ọlọ́run ó máa gbé lókè o, wájú ní wọn lọ, kò ní lu ẹ̀yìn mọ́ o, ó ṣe mo dúpẹ́ o.
In fact, we don't know how to appreciate the government and what they are doing. The Healthcare Plus is actually helping the people of this environment by saying, may God give him the strength to continue this wonderful work.
We thank Yaya Bello for this program, and we pray for Yaya Bello to continue with this program till the end of his tenure, and we pray for Yaya Bello to come back for the second time so that he can continue his good job. Thank you.
And that's it on this episode of Healthcare Plus Baby of the Week. Keep a date with us for another exciting episode.
Welcome back. The Court of Appeal has dismissed a motion filed by the People's Democratic Party and its candidate Atiku Abubakar for leave to inspect the central server used to transmit data from accredited voters and the results of the February 23 presidential election. A 5-man panel hearing the presidential election petition gave the ruling at Monday's resumed pre-hearing section on grounds that issues have been joined by the parties and that delving into it now will be tantamount to determining a substantive matter at the interlocutory stage. The All Progressives Congress women, under the auspices of APC Women Today Initiative Group, on Monday protested against the low appointment of women by President Muhammadu Buhari in his previous cabinet. The protesters, who took to the streets of Abuja, the nation's capital, had among other demands asked the president to review the appointments in his second term and make adjustments that would further encourage women that campaign for his re-election. Clearview TV's Magdalene Michael has more.
We have been with him right from ANPP to CPC to APC. We stand to work from beginning to the end, but at last we are not carrying along. Why? Nothing to show for it. We have work for you.
These are women expressing displeasure over previous appointment by the president and calling for a better female representation. One of the protesters, Bolaji Adebingbe, expressed the belief that the President Buhari will not betray the faith and expectation that he would take unifying actions that would strengthen the APC women who worked for him in 2015 and 2019 but benefited less.
We're soliciting the President for the inclusiveness of women in his cabinet. The era of use and dump is enough. I was one of the aspirants that was not given tickets. We have worked tirelessly to make sure this administration succeeds. We have done a lot of things to make things work for this government.
Baba itamake mata, isa mata a cikin tafiyansa. Dole sai an yi da mata, kuma mata sun sha wahala lokacin da aka zabe baba. Mun sha wahala kuma muna godiya baba yana dan taimaka ma yara mu a makaranta wurin ba da abinci da wasu abubuwa. Amma abin da muke so, muke bukata yanzu shine baba itamake mu mata a ba mu minista ko a ba mu wani makami ba wai a samu abot bane.
Comrade Abdul Wahab Ekide said that when women are involved in progressive actions capable of sustaining the progress of the country will be achieved.
So we are here in solidarity with the agitations of the women, saying that they have been left behind by the regime of President Muhammadu Buhari. As you know, all over the world they are clamoring for women affirmation. And in Nigeria, just in the recent past, we had about 35% affirmation for women.
The protesters insisted that women inclusion will bring about meaningful difference and progress as women's contribution should not be undermined. Magdalene Michael, reporting for Clearview Television.
Citizens of Bauchi State are waiting to see what will happen on Tuesday as the Kawuwa Shehu Damina-led faction of Bauchi State House of Assembly sets to hold its plenary session amid a restraining court order. The Damina-led faction had adjourned sitting to Tuesday, June 25, after parallel inauguration on Thursday, June 20, 2019. The PDP backed Speaker Abubakar Suleiman Ningi and his faction adjourned sitting until further notice after their inauguration same day. However, a court in Bauchi has issued an order restraining Damina and his deputy Tukur Ibrahim against parading themselves as Speaker and Deputy Speaker of the State House of Assembly. The order of interim injunction was granted by the presiding judge, Justice A.M. Kafin Madaki, on Friday, following an application filed by the PDP-backed Speaker Suleiman and 12 others against Bauchi State House of Assembly. Bauchi State Attorney General Kawuwa Shehu Damina, Tukur Ibrahim and 16 others as defendants on June 21, 2019. The judge adjourned the matter to July 2, 2019 for motion on notice. Damina and Suleiman emerged as speakers from separate inaugurations held by the two factions in the Bauchi State House of Assembly last Thursday. Yobe State House of Assembly on Monday elected the Speaker and Deputy Speaker of the 7th Assembly. Ahmed Lawan Merwa, representing Nguru 2 constituency, and Awolu Isa Bello of Mamudo constituency were both elected Speaker and Deputy Speaker respectively. The two were elected unopposed by the 24 members of the chamber. The clerk of the House, Ishaku Muhammad, had conducted a roll call to ensure the presence of all the 24 members in the chamber before the election began. The clerk ordered for the commencement of the process after the roll call and the assurance that the quorum had been formed. Buba Kalalawa, representing Damaturu constituency, moved the motion for the nomination of Ahmed Lawan Merwa as Speaker, which was seconded by the member representing Fika, Ishaku Audu. The clerk subsequently announced for further nomination, which was not made, and had to declare Merwa as duly elected Speaker of the House. The motion for the nomination of Awa Isa Bello was moved by Bulama Bukar, representing Guba constituency, and was seconded by Ahmed Musa Dambulwa of Yanusari constituency. As in the case of the Speaker, there was no further nomination for the deputy, and Bello was declared elected. Both the Speaker and his deputy accepted the nomination and promised to work in the interest of the party and the people of Yobe State. The oath was subsequently administered on them, and the 7th Assembly was inaugurated. Members of the Edo State House of Assembly on Monday cut short their adjournment and reconvened under tight security to swear in 2 more members elect. Principal officers were also elected during plenary. 9 out of the 24 members elect of the House were inaugurated last Monday behind closed doors. The House thereafter adjourned to July 17, 2019 to enable others to complete the necessary documentation. The 2 members elect sworn in by the clerk of the House, Yahaya Audu Amobai, were Emmanuel Akodwa, Ishan Northeast, and Sunday Ajezele, Ishan Southeast, respectively. Their swearing in makes it a total of 11 lawmakers so far. Principal officers of the House elected were Roland Asoro, House Leader Marcos Anobun, as Deputy Leader Henry Ahorobo. As Chief Whip, Y. Nasoyaba Akombo was co-opted into the Principal Officers Council. However, only 9 members, including the Speaker, were present at plenary, while 2 were absent. The House thereafter adjourned till July 17, 2019. The police command in Lagos State has confirmed that a 27-year-old man, Omotola, also known as Ola Brain, on Monday committed suicide over alleged frustration. The incident happened in Ekpe local government area of Lagos State at 5:30 a.m. on Monday. Ademola Ogunjobi, Divisional Police Officer, Ekpe Branch, confirmed the incident in an interview with newsmen. According to him, the police have confirmed the incident of a young man that committed suicide by hanging in early hours of Monday. The police said the corpse has been deposited in the mortuary at Ekpe General Hospital for further investigation. An eyewitness, Tunde Badmos, said the incident happened at Idi Aba area of Ekpe. He said that the young man committed suicide by hanging himself to death early hours of Monday. According to Badmos, he alleged that the deceased was once a Yahoo boy before his mother stopped him from such attitude. He was found roaming around the streets and probably felt frustrated after leaving the Yahoo job and decided to hang himself. Corps Marshal Federal Road Safety Corps Buboye Oyeyemi has called on drivers to apply common sense, adhere to speed limits, and imbibe a safe driving culture to avoid road hazards that occur as a result of wet and slippery road surfaces, foggy weather, and occasional poor visibility due to the rainy season. According to BC Kazim, the Corps Public Education Officer, the Corps Marshal emphatically cautioned drivers to always ensure that they have functional headlamps to enable them to see the road ahead, and also have operational rail lights so that they can be seen by other road users. The Corps Marshal also warned drivers to desist from dangerous and wrongful overtaking, avoid lane indiscipline, be more patient and tolerant, avoid violation or driving against traffic, always put on their seatbelts, and avoid overloading either of goods or persons. He further cautioned drivers to always display caution signs in case of breakdown to alert oncoming vehicles, and if visibility is poor, noting that drivers should endeavor to move off the road and park safely, leaving the parking lights on and keeping a safe distance from the vehicle in front. He also admonished pedestrians to ensure that they utilize the overhead bridges where available, as well as interact with traffic the safest way possible. The leadership of Christian Association of Nigeria in the 23 local government area of Kaduna State on Monday met in the state capital over the state religious bill awaiting the assent of Governor Malam Nasru El-Rufai. The CAN leaders, comprising 2 members each from the 23 local government areas of the state, said the State High Court judgment declaring the issuance and licensing of clerics in the state was illegal was a welcome development. A state high court had last Wednesday declared that the state had no right to screen and issue licenses to religious preachers in the state. The court, presided over by Justice Hajaratu Gwada, had maintained in her ruling that the state government had the right to regulate religious activities in the state. Justice Gwada also ruled that screening and issuing licenses to religious preachers was unconstitutional. The Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria had in 2016 challenged the constitutionality of the bill, describing it as an infringement on fundamental human rights. The PFM had, among other prayers, asked the court for a declaration that setting up a committee for the screening and licensing of preachers, as provided in the bill, is a violation of their rights. The state camp chairman, Reverend John Hayab, while addressing a press conference at its secretariat along Ibrahim Taiwo Road, Kaduna, appealed to the governor, Malam Nasir El-Rufai, to obey the court ruling on the religious preaching bill. Hayab, while saying that the bill was designed to bully Christians in the state, noted that the bill won't stand the test of time. He maintained that the association was fully behind the PFM that dragged the state government to court over the matter. The Young African Leaders Initiative has called for more inclusion of youth in government policies for sustainable growth. President Total Cooperative Wale Olasoji, who made the call at the Yali 2019 summit held in Abuja this Monday, emphasized that Nigerian youth are willing to contribute to the value chain and challenge the status quo in the country. Our correspondent, Ife Oluwaishola, was there and now reports.
As part of fulfilling the mission of the Young African Leaders Initiative YALI, which is a signature effort to invest in the next generation of African leaders, YALI gathered youth from different parastatals to discuss on a paradigm shift in sustainability of youth inclusion in government policies. In an interview, President Total Cooperative Wale Olasoji says the youth of Nigeria need to take a deliberate step and make impact to the involvement of technology, as it is fast becoming the most run human factors in improving job creation.
The youths form the critical mass of the society, about a third of the population of Nigeria, and that's quite instructive. Unfortunately, it would seem that the society is not structured in a way to put responsibility into youth. So number one, youths have to take responsibility. We need to get outside of this box of waiting for somebody to fix the problem. We need to take responsibility and fix our own problem. It's only as you take responsibility that you can get results, and then you become celebrated.
Also speaking, Professor Nkoye says although the world is highly technologically driven, moralities remain the basics of sustaining technology.
But let me remind us here, there is the human element in science, and you cannot turn your back on the human element, the human dimension of science. You can't turn your back on it. Number two, there is the moral side of science, whether we like it or not. If you want to sustain development, these basic positive parts of us need to be elevated to a higher level. You cannot fund a company, whether it's IT company or any other company, and run it alone. You are going to have people to help you to run it. And you need to treat those people as human beings. That's the summary of it. If you don't treat them as human beings, then they will somehow run down the whole place to your own disadvantage.
One of the participants, Isaac Balami, recommended that youth be aggressively empowered to engage in government policies for sustainable development.
To begin to aggressively see how we can begin to empower youth. The president said that he's going to work with youth and women in this dispensation, in this new, in the next 4 years. And I'm happy he signed the Not Too Young to Run bill. It is timely. Youth needs to be engaged because you can't just go from nowhere because you have a PhD or you're a professor to become a minister or a senator or a governor or even a president. There must be a process. You should enter the system, learn, make mistakes, grow, so that in the next few years, you can make impact. That is not existing anywhere right now. And that is something that has to be done. Otherwise, we're in serious problem in this continent.
Former President Barack Obama launched Yali in 2010 to support young African leaders as they spur growth and prosperity, strengthen democratic governance, and enhance peace and security across sub-Saharan Africa. The Young African Leaders Initiative Yali is not just a fellowship or an online community or a place to go for regional leadership training, but a combination of all three. Ifeoluwa Ishola, reporting for Clearview Television.
You're still watching Clearview Television News. The news will continue shortly after this time out. Stay with us.
Wow! Ekide che wa gegedede je kuma gbomu we ekide che odukane kebi kolonyo gba ka àwọn dugbede hu àwọn ma agbadufo onekele konugule manike koma alukuma gba bai alukuma ko ichiwa igala omi kuna kai shoma me kukoja ne igala de edomi sebo kubojile uchoma me igala lakina gowa oji television kide mo ba ekidere ma obino
látòrí ìdárayá kí orí ọ̀dọ́ látòrí ọ̀dọ́ olóṣèlú títí dé orí ọ̀wọ́n lọ́balọ́ba àti ìjòyè ya wọn yìí. ẹ̀kọ́ àti àṣà àti ìṣera ètò ẹ̀jáyé ńgbọ́ra ó ti rá láti jẹ́ àmọ́ ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ní ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ ní agbègbè ra àti àyíká ra nílẹ̀ ọkùn ẹ̀ agbọ́ra ẹ̀ àwòrán níbi ẹ̀tíyàwó ra ètò ẹ̀jáyé ńgbọ́ra àti muharin gbogbo níbẹ̀ ṣẹlẹ̀ ẹ̀ àwòrán lórí rẹ̀.
Welcome back. And on the foreign scene, security officials say the suspected ringleader of Saturday's failed coup plot in Ethiopia's Amhara region is on the run. 4 top officials, including the army chief, were killed while thwarting the coup. Flags are flying at half-mast after the federal government declared a day of mourning to mark the death. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has urged Ethiopians to unite against evil forces set on dividing the country. A heavy contingent of pro-government forces have been deployed in Amhara's capital, Bahir Dar, and the federal capital, Addis Ababa. The U.S. State Department has warned its staff in Addis Ababa to stay inside. Ethnic violence has hit Amhara and other parts of Ethiopia in recent years. Since his election last year, Abiy has moved to end political repression by releasing political prisoners, removing bans on political parties, and prosecuting officials accused of human rights abuses. Africa's oldest independent country, Ethiopia, is also the continent's second most populous after Nigeria, with 102.5 million inhabitants from more than 80 different ethnic groups. A transfer hub for long-haul air travel, it has one of the fastest growing economies in the world, but a vast number of young Ethiopians are without work. Abiy office has accused Amhara's regional security chief, Brigadier General Asaminu Sige, of being behind the coup plot. Gen Asamihu was among a group of high-ranking military officers released from prison early last year, when the previous government moved to free political detainees in response to public pressure. More than 1,500 people have died in a nearly 10-month-old outbreak of Ebola in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The health ministry said on Monday. As of Sunday, 1,506 people have died out of 2,239 recorded cases. Earlier this month, the virus claimed 2 lives in neighboring Uganda. Among a family who had traveled to the Republic of Congo, nearly 141,000 people have been vaccinated in the affected eastern the Republic of Congo provinces of Ituri and North Kivu, the epicenter of the outbreak. Ebola spreads among humans through close contacts with the blood, body fluids, secretions, or organs of an infected person or objects contaminated by such fluids. The current outbreak in the Republic of Congo is the worst on record after an epidemic that struck mainly in Liberia, Guinea, and Sierra Leone between 2014 and 2016, killing more than 11,300 people. Chronic violence and militia activity in Ituri and North Kivu as well as hostility to medical teams among locals, have hampered the response. On Monday, a crowd of people opposed to the burial of 2 Ebola victims in the Beni area burnt the vehicle of a health team, local police chief Colonel Safari Kazingufu told AFP. He said the member of the medical team had been injured in the attack and taken to hospital. The United Nations in May nominated an emergency coordinator to deal with the crisis. However, the World Health Organization said this month the outbreak currently did not represent a global threat. 15 people have been killed in 2 attacks by armed terrorists on villages in northern Burkina Faso. The country's defense minister Sharif Sai said Monday that the gunmen attacked the villages of Saho and Tokodogo in the Basalogoa district on Saturday. Sai added once elected, soldiers and members of the security forces were deployed who put the assailants to flight. Burkina Faso has suffered from increasingly frequent and deadly attacks attributed to a number of jihadist groups, including the group to support Islam and Muslims and Islamic State in the Greater Sahara. More than 1,000 people have fled their homes because of the unrest in the region, finding refuge in the capital, Ouagadougou, in the center of the country. The north of the former French colony, near the borders with Mali and Niger, has been particularly hard hit. The raids began in 2015 in the north before spreading to Ouagadougou and other regions, notably in the east. The attacks have killed more than 460 people, according to an AFP tally. Intercommunal violence, often aggravated by the jihadist violence, has added to the insecurity last Tuesday. A jihadist attack in Belahede, in the northern province of Swan, claimed 17 lives. In May, Burkina Faso's armed forces launched a major operation in the Sahel region in the north and center-north of the country to try to crack down on the jihadist threat. France is braced for a heat wave with temperatures forecast to exceed 40 Celsius this week, potentially breaking the record for June. Temperatures are expected to reach 35 degrees or more on Monday and climb even further until the peak on Thursday and Friday. The north of the country, including Paris, will be worst affected. Temporary fountains have been put in place and public pools will stay open later as part of an extreme heat plan. Water will also be distributed and a care plan will be put in effect for vulnerable people, including the elderly, as high humidity will make 40 Celsius feel like 47 Celsius in the capital. France, Germany, Switzerland and Belgium could all see national records for June broken in the coming days, but France is particularly aware of the dangers posed by the hot weather. Comparisons are being drawn to the heat wave France experienced in August 23, in which almost 15,000 people died. In the space of a single month, the top 3 temperatures ever recorded were all set topping out at 44.1 Celsius on 12 August. France's national forecaster, Meteo France, is warning that temperatures may not fall until the following weekend, even at night, when lowest temperatures are expected to remain above 20 Celsius in many places. Large cities are particularly vulnerable, the weather service warned. Turkey's ruling AK party has lost control of Istanbul after a rerun of the city's mayoral election, delivering a stinging blow to President Erdogan with nearly all ballots counted. Main opposition party candidate Ekrem İmamoğlu had a lead of 775,000 votes, a huge increase on the margin of 13,000 he achieved in the earlier election. That victory in March was annulled after the AKP alleged irregularities. The result ends 25 years of AKP rule in Istanbul. The AKP's candidate, former Prime Minister Binali Yildirim, conceded of his opponent. On Twitter, President Recep Tayyip Erdogan wrote, "I congratulate Ekrem İmamoğlu, who has won the election based on preliminary results." Erdogan had previously said that whoever wins Istanbul wins Turkey. He has ruled the country since 2003, both as Prime Minister and non-president, becoming the most powerful leader since Mustafa Kemal Atatürk the founder of the modern Turkish Republic. In his victory speech, Imamoglu of the Republican People's Party said the result marked a new beginning for both the city and the country. He said his supporters had faced democracy. You're still watching Clearview Television News. Next is the sport news with Tolulope Oguntimeyi. Stay tuned.
This used to be me. But that was before I got the perfect bag. It's handy and easy to use. All I need in one compact space, just like my MTN Extra Value plan. I used to get one plan for my calls and then try to remember which data plan worked for me. Roaming was a totally different ballgame. Not anymore. I've got the MTN Extra Value all-in-one plan. If you're a data buff like me, you get extra data with some talk time. And if you like to make calls, you get extra talk time with some data. And when I'm abroad, I automatically browse, chat, and call right on the same plan. MTN Extra Value was made just for me.
More of data or calls, whichever one you prefer. MTN Extra Value is made just for you.
Hello and welcome to the sporting segment of Clearview Television. I'm Oguntimeyi Tolulope Oguntimeyi. The Permanent Secretary Minister of Youth and Sport, Ms. Olushade Adeshola, has reiterated the commitment of the Sports Ministry to ensuring that all national teams are catered for. Ms. Olushade stated this during an exclusive interview with Clearview Television in Abuja, following the reports of Nigeria Football Federation (NFF) complaining of lack of funds to prosecute the Nations Cup, which is ongoing in Egypt.
Once a team is going out of the country, it is no longer for a federation, it is for the country. And Mr. President is the one in charge as the grand patron of sport. We had submitted a request on them to Mr. President. And as a sport-loving president, I know they will soon get a response immediately. Mr. President takes time to watch them and identifies with the performances of our athletes. So this is not lost to him. I know the country will do something.
Our Ministry of Youth and Sport has also commended the organizer of Nigeria Football Initiative. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Youth and Sport, Olushade Adeshola, said the awareness they have raised for women football is commendable and they should not relent in their effort. The report. Organizer of Miss Nigeria Football Initiative has thanked the Ministry of Youth and Sports for supporting their project to empower women in sport. Moses Ebao, who led the delegation to Sport Ministry, said the ministry has been supportive of all projects that will help enhance the growth of women football, and that is why they deem it fit to involve them in their activities.
And we deem it necessary to come and meet with you today because we've seen the role you have played since you become the Permanent Secretary of this ministry. You have done a lot of reform, you have given the youth sense of belonging, you also set a strategic plan for sport in this country. And because of this, your activity that you have done, the Ministry of Sport and the sport entire family, Nigeria have been getting good medals, Nigeria have been getting good lovers in all the international competition and local competition within the country. So I want to thank you for that.
The Permanent Secretary, Minister of Youth and Sport, Olushade Adeshola, said the commendation for Miss Nigeria Football Initiative will motivate the Sports Ministry to do more.
It's an acknowledgement of efforts and a commendation that we should do more. What they have said today by this award is we appreciate what you are doing. We are saying we should do more.
The Miss Nigeria Football Initiative is meant to support the Super Falcons at the ongoing Women World Cup in France. And that's it from the sporting segment of Clearview Television. I'm Oguntimehin Tolulapo Oguntimehin.
Welcome back, and that is it for the news. But before we go, a recap of our top stories. President Muhammadu Buhari has commiserated with the government and people of Zamfara State on the recent infiltration of bandits who killed several innocent citizens in Southern local government area of the state. The Court of Appeal has dismissed the motion filed by the People's Democratic Party and its candidate Atiku Abubakar for leave to inspect the central server used to transmit data from accredited voters and the results of the February 23 presidential election. Security officials say the suspected ringleader of Saturday's failed coup in Ethiopia's Amhara region is on the run. That's the news. Remember that you can subscribe to our YouTube channel via Clearview TV. Like us on Facebook via Clearview Television. Follow us on Twitter at Clearview Online. Follow us on Instagram at Clearview TV_NG. You can also watch Clearview TV on Nigecomsat with any free-to-air decoder. For details, contact your local installer. I am Rose Audu. Many thanks for watching.